I'm Lisa Berry.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm Me Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Lydia Camille Dixon.
I'm Sarah Dates Wardam.
My name is Linda Preston, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. This episode 437. I'm here with Chuck Norfolk. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Well, it's good to be here.
Now, the honor's all mine. Hey, supporting a good cause, making a new friend out of it.
Yeah.
That being said, it's a half hour of your time. You can say anything you want, talk about anything you like. And for people who want to know what my talk show's about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. They can never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's to prove to them you can break the labels. So that being said, half hour every time, and starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm a filmmaker from Houston, Texas. I've produced several feature films, directed a couple of feature films. One of them is called Haunted Trailer. The other one's called Getting Schooled. You can find both of those on Amazon. We work under the banner of Lucky Chucky Productions, which you can get to that on Facebook. I guess it's just Facebook, Lucky Chucky Productions, Twitter at the Chuck Norfolk, and Instagram, Lucky Chucky Films, I think, or something like that. Just an indie filmmaker trying to, do things,
No, absolutely. Now I saw that you are a writer, producer, and actor, writer, and producer. So let's get to all those things one at a time. But you mentioned those three things that you were plugging before. Who influenced you to come up with your own production company, and how did all that come about?
Well, I've been screenwriting for probably 25 years. And didn't really, it's hard to get interest in Hollywood to make films, make your script, get through that process. So I decided to go ahead and make a production company to, make my movies. So that's what we do. I probably have between 7 and 10 feature scripts, and so I'm just kind of going through and making them one at a time. And it's fun.
Hey, you have to have a passion for what you do. If you don't have a passion for it, you're pretty much just wasting your own time and setting yourself up for failure.
Yep, that's right.
Now, I see you wearing a football jersey. Are you excited for the games today?
Yes. Well, not as excited as I could be if the Texans were in, but yeah, I really like football. It's kind of passionate about that, too.
I have a jersey hanging up in my closet of the Carolina Panthers. I bet I will stand out like a sore thumb if I go to a New York Giant game.
Oh, okay, yeah. Are you watching today, or are you not? Who do you think's going to win?
I might go watch, but I've been focused on my talk show, so I may poke my head in and see who's playing. But that's really about it. What about you?
Yeah, I'll probably watch the games, kick it on back.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, have you ever worked with people with disabilities, and would you be willing to work with people with disabilities?
Yes, I have. My wife is really, you should have her on here because she's really invested in that cause, and she's made several short films about people with disabilities or families with somebody with disabilities in them. I've helped out on a couple of those a little bit, not too much. She doesn't like me to come and try to boss her around, so, I'm not invited, I don't guess. I guess I'm the one with the disability. But, and we also have a daughter who has high-functioning autism, so just that's kind of something that's dear to our heart. Is that kind of thing, yeah.
No, absolutely. It's like what I said. Labels don't dictate who you. I can't speak. Labels don't dictate who you are or who you're going to be. It's to prove to them that you can break the labels.
That's correct. Yeah, that's really right. And as a matter of fact, I made a horror movie called Getting Schooled that has a teacher in a wheelchair. It's not a learning disability, but it's a disability. But he's actually the killer in the movie. So anybody who's into that would check it out.
And that's something that's popped in my head. I have to say it. How does he kill people? Does he run them over with his wheelchair?
He does. He chases after him and uses. He's a teacher, so he uses different things in the school to kill him. So check it out on Amazon.
I had to throw that joke in there. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I think if he had maybe a heavy duty outdoor wheelchair, he might run him over, but he does use it in a couple of places where you'll get a kick out of.
Well, it's kind of funny we should be talking about wheelchairs because there's this new invention that people are working on. Things on Kickstarter where you can put like a wheel in front of it, and it's kind of like a bumper on the side, so you can turn your wheelchair into a car. So you don't have to be drove everywhere. You don't have to drive anywhere if you're in a wheelchair. You can just take the wheelchair and use it as a car. I think that's really inventive.
That's a good idea, definitely, yeah. We had to work. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
We had to work around the wheelchair and put rigs on that with cameras and stuff, too, to get some of the shots that we had. So, that doesn't really have anything to do with disabilities, but it has to do with, kind of using inventiveness to, get your shot in a movie, things like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, would you say someone like me would be good enough to do a documentary about? Do you think I should stick to the books? What is your honest opinion about my type of work?
I like that you're doing a discussion show about this. It's a good deal. You've done how many of these shows?
Officially or unofficially?
Well, whichever.
Unofficially, 736, and officially I did 436.
That's amazing. That's a lot of shows. So I know that a documentary would be, cool about that. My wife has done a documentary of somebody who is in a wheelchair, but he's very functional, and he's also works out and climbs ropes and all this crazy stuff. So he's in a lot better shape than I am, and he's in a wheelchair. But yeah, it'd make an interesting documentary about you doing this many shows, and even maybe a mini documentary if you have some people that could help you, or you could even do it yourself. I think that doing that many interview shows is a lot. That has a lot of shows that you stick to it, and you're really into it, as opposed to some people that try it a few times and then just don't do it anymore.
No, I agree with you. And this June coming up, It's going to be my official 5th anniversary for 5 years. Been doing this for 5 years, day in, day out. Very passionate about this. I want to do this till I die. You know, not be in my bedroom in, say, a real studio, but I mean actually have like a full-blown set as pyro and everything. And we really go big.
Right.
What was it? Go big or go home?
That's right. All right. Pyro, so you're going to do it like WWE and blow it up and come out on stage and stuff like that?
Well, there is a WWE, well, WWF, if you can see
Oh, yeah.
before my belt, WWF/WWE belt that I have. I'm a big wrestling fan, but there is a set during the early 90s. I don't know if you remember it. It's where they had on Superstars, they had this, it's a doorway, and it had like the green, purple, and I think green, purple, and blue neon lights around it, and on top of the doorway had like a little logo. So I thought it would be cool when I invite a guest or I have you on the show again, you can come out to your own music, and then they have like a little box and a little screen on the side. And that's to just make it different, because I was thinking about, hey, I can be like Bill O'Reilly, you know, I just sit behind the desk. I can be
Right.
like Bill Maher, I can stand up, then sit down, then stand back up again. Or I can be something different, maybe have like a wrestling ring, but have like a little desk in the corner. And then have, like, use the belt for an example. Get my ass kicked
Yeah.
by a wrestler.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
It is
Have you had any wrestlers on your show?
No, absolutely. Some are my good friends, and some of them are one-hit wonders. I have my buddy Raven. I have, let's see, Just Incredible. I have, trying to think without hurting myself. Let's see. See, Raven, Just Incredible, Angel, Ernest the Cat Miller. I got a couple of recommendations from a couple of beautiful women. You know, Malena Perez, Velvet Sky, Angel Love. You know, a couple of the guy wrestlers, Christopher Daniels, Vince Russo, Jeff Jarrett. So, you know, I pretty much get everyone. You know, I interviewed actors. Let's start from the beginning, you know, give you the highlights.
All right.
When I first started, don't get me started, but seemed like a good idea at the time. I was doing phone interviews.
Okay.
And I was still having panic attacks. You know, I was like, you know, this is something I want to be doing, but I'm still like, you know, screwing up. You know, I'm having all these things, and you know, right now I'm stuttering because, you know, I'm nervous and my disability shows out. But when I first did it, I did 72 phone interviews. I got people from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Dragon Ball Z, and Amazing Spider-Man, and they were like, "Oh, you have this great format. Why aren't you as big or bigger than you portray yourself to be? Why don't you have people helping you? Why don't you have sponsors? Oh, would you like to help me with that? No, if you can't do it yourself, it's not meant to be." I used to hang up and be like, "Yeah, thanks a lot, asshole." So, one guy said to me, I can't remember who it was, that, thanks to him, we're doing the video format. To do it over, try something different. So I did 300 interviews. Unfortunately, you know, certain people were telling me at the time, you're not copyrighted, you're not trademarked, you know, you're manipulating people, you're conning people, all that, you know, BS.
What?
And a lot of people said to me, you know, say we met the first time. Oh, we did the interview, and then, because I wasn't taking people permission forms, that comes later, I was taking people at their word. And then you're like, little by little, yeah, you know, my agent said, my publicist said, you ask a lot of stupid questions, and we don't like the video quality, we don't want to be seen with people like you, you're degrading, this is hurting my career, I'm gonna sue you, take it off. So I said, screw it. And at that point, I went to, I looked up a lawyer/senior advisor, said, would you, can't even speak, would it be okay if I asked you a couple questions? He said, yes. do I have to be trademarked? No, because you're not making any money. You do not have to be trademarked. You eventually should be, but right now you're not.
Sure.
Copyrighted, you have an online presence. You're all over social media. And some people would say like a disease. But I'm all over social media, so people know who you are, and you have an online presence. He said your biggest failure, my biggest mistake, was the fact you weren't taking permission forms. Because I was taking people at their word.
Yeah.
And now, so at the time I was called uncensored because I like, go back to the wrestling. How Snickers and Hershey's presents Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. So I was like, well, I have the Keith Andrew Network. Wouldn't it be cool to say the Keith Andrew Network presents uncensored? And then I was like, you know what, screw it. Took everything down. And I went back to everyone, permission forms. I had the form where introduced myself, tell you the concept of the show. You either handwrite it or sign it and say, do I have permission to use your interview? Half said yes, half said no. And with that being said, I had to solve about, let's see, luckily I got up to 200, but I had to solve 100 or 100 or whatever. And then I was like, do it over. I'm paying for the Keith Andrew Network name. Screw it. And everything from this day forward, Keith Andrew Network. That's it. No uncensored. Uncensored, it's freedom of speech, self-expression. So I do have that.
Yep.
But it's basically the Keith Andrew Network show. And it's just showing you, after I could have, when I got the belt, that's when I got the 300. And little by little, people were making auto threats to me. We're going to sue you. We're going to take everything away from you. We're going to do this and that. So, some people said to me, go talk to a lawyer. So I went to a lawyer, asked a couple questions. He said, you're fine, just do permission forms. And I did everything over. So I rebranded myself.
And that's what we have to do in films, too, is everyone who's involved, crew, cast, anybody. If you bring the food, if you're filming it, if you're an actor, extra, anything, everyone has to have one of those kind of forms because any one person, even the smallest, with the smallest part in the movie, could come back and say, hey, I didn't sign a form. You have to take me out. I don't like this movie, So, yeah, that's a good way to go. And, screw the trolls out on the internet. That's all those people are, You're always going to get, bad reviews or people talking crap about you. You got to block that out. Another thing is, it's even hard to read reviews of my movie sometimes. Some of them are good, but some of them just tear you apart, So, it might be better just to not even pay attention to that. But, you have fans, so you have to interact with them, right? So it's kind of makes it hard to... I'm sure you do. You don't? Yeah, you do. I'm sure you do if you made this many shows, Is this on YouTube or on what?
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Okay, good deal. So, of course, YouTube is a troll factory, right? They're going to come and try to talk shit about you, excuse my French, but, so you're different, right? That's good. Being different is good, especially in this age of so much content out there. You know what I mean? If you're the same as everybody else, how are you going to rise above all the noise of all the other people that are doing shows like this, So you being different, you having a different angle on things is great. I would, stick with it and don't worry about what those people say, No,
absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and with the last couple minutes left, I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Okay.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Papick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Orange Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldner.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
And my name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew on what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm gonna come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network, episode 436. Actually, 437, correction. 437. And I'm here with my good friend Chuck. With the last 13 minutes left of the show, I'm going to pass it over to you. Was there anything you want to talk about, anything you want to promote? This is your time, after all.
Okay, well, I'm a filmmaker, so of course I'd like to get the word out about the movies that I've made and some upcoming stuff. I have 2 feature films, so full-length movies on Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, everywhere. And also available on DVD if you want it from Amazon. One is called The Haunted Trailer, which is about a group of hillbillies who get haunted in their trailer, and they have to stop the 2012 apocalypse from happening. That was a fun one to make, really stupid. So if you like really stupid comedy, you'll love it. Then there's Getting Schooled, which is a story about, imagine if the Breakfast Club group, have you seen that movie, Breakfast Club?
Yeah, classic.
Okay, so imagine they come to detention on Saturday and something happens that sets their teacher in a wheelchair off on a Vietnam flashback, and he starts killing them off. That's what that is. That's Getting Schooled. That's also available out there on Amazon and iTunes and all that. I have an upcoming one that's we're going to start in April, doing something called Life Insurance Lottery, which is about a guy that gets caught up in a life insurance scam where when somebody dies, they split the money. But, who's going to die next? It could be him. So that's what that's about. We're going to be probably doing an Indiegogo in the next month or so for that. But if you want to follow what we're doing, Lucky Chucky Productions on Facebook. You can send me a friend request, Chuck Norfolk on Facebook, and like I said, at the Chuck Norfolk on Twitter. Not much else going on. I mean, just, trying to put together a production and have fun and be creative. That's what life's about to me is, I have a regular day job. So this is more of a hobby for me, low budget indie movies. And I suggest everyone get some type of creative outlet. You have yours doing your show. I think it's really fulfilling. You probably think so too. I mean, gives you something to look forward to, something to think about, a lot of work to do that's not related to a regular job. So that's my speech. That's about all I got.
No, absolutely. Now, I do have one more subject I do want to talk to you about.
Okay.
And with that being said, it's social media. Can social media make you or break you? And for everything that you're doing, do you think it impacts for what you're doing?
Yeah. Social media has a huge impact on what I'm doing, connecting with fans, letting people know what's going on with new movies or things like that. We do use a lot of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and it's just a way to connect with, the fans out there. There is a drawback, like we talked about earlier, that, there's trolls out there. There's people that want to talk crap about what you've done. You just have to shut that off. We're not doing this for negative input. We're not, trying to be a superstar. We're doing something creative that we like to do, that we feel passionate about. Just, you see something that is going to be negative, just swipe down. That's what I do. I try, at least, because it can, it probably makes you feel like quitting sometime, that people are saying, negative or stupid things about you that don't really care about your show anyway or care about what you're doing. So, I'd say it's a make me type thing, not a break me.
I get that on an everyday basis, actually.
Yeah. If you look out there enough, you're going to see somebody saying something negative about you, right? So forget them. If they're, and like on Facebook, if I have somebody who's really negative or things like that, I'll just unfollow them, and instead of unfriend them, I can unfollow them, and then they go away. I don't see them, but there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of supportive people. Just stick with them and just ignore the garbage. That's what I try to do. But, as you probably know, it's nearly impossible to just not read some stupid thing,
That's true. Now, don't mind me, I have to go get the cats at the door. But the one question I do want to ask you while I get up and have to do something is, are you on Twitter, LinkedIn, States32? Do you want to plug your social media? And actually, the last question I was going to ask you, actually, let's do the social media one first. You can give me some time.
Instagram, check out at Lucky Chucky Films. Twitter is at the Chuck Norfolk, and just look for Lucky Chucky Productions and Chuck Norfolk on Facebook. Also, we have a Getting Schooled in Haunted Trailer Facebook page if you want to check those out too.
No, absolutely. And now for people who want to follow me, I don't usually do this, but I think I actually should.
Yeah.
For people who want to follow me, you can go to Twitter. I almost said hashtag. Yeah, it is hashtag if you want to hashtag the KeithAndrewNetwork. But go to Twitter, go at KeithAndrew88. Instagram, I'm on at KeithAndrewNetwork. Same name on YouTube, LinkedIn, States32, Blogger. I think it's called a Reddit or Rabbit, or it's RITT.
Okay.
I use it occasionally. I have no idea what it is. I'm on Pinterest. Kind of like Oprah. I'm everywhere.
You're all over the place. You're social media mogul now.
That's true. Even now, my last subject I do want to question I want to ask you, do have a couple questions for you off the air, is when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction and what made you say yes?
Oh, good. Somebody wants to talk to me. And no, I like the idea of, the format that you're doing, or what statement that you're making about learning disabilities. I mean, that fits in under all disabilities, I think. So I like the idea of that, I'm happy to support that at all times. So that's probably the reason.
All right. Well, stay tuned for after the show. I do have a couple questions for you. But I do want to plug one thing. And now, for anyone out there who's a wrestling fan, a fan of ECW, I have a group of people, who would be interested in doing a special edition of the Keith Andrew Network presents the ECW reunion. We are working on that towards February, and it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be like a traditional Skype interview, like I always do, but it will be ECW based only. But stay tuned for the information on that. Working on that. But with that being said, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Yeah, same to you.